let's just deal with this. You're not behind. You're not behind in life. Behind what? Behind who, right? Like all of these arbitrary dates, times, ages that we're supposed to have life figured out, it's not real. It's made up. And so we're beating ourselves up because of the inner colonizer in us that tells us that we should be here by this time. I'm just finding the joy in falling behind in life, because it's not really falling behind in life as much as it's like falling into your life. Life is supposed to go slow. Life is supposed to be savored. Hi, bird. That was a blue jay. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful, beautiful autumn day. It's chilly, but beautiful. Hello, Robin. Hello. I think they're getting ready for the winter. They got their winter coats on. I need to sit down somewhere so I can, I'm trying to figure out where I can sit to, let me sit so I can think. Okay. No, oh, it's a little squirrel eating out of a cup. Hello, friendly squirrel. Are you friendly? Yes. Okay. Hello, friends. I'm back again. I'm taking a break from my walk because I really want to talk about this idea of being behind in life. So I've written a song about it. I've talked about it at length, and I have this like new revelation, right? And that I want to share with you. So I live in the DMV area. If you don't know, the DMV is trash when it comes to traffic, especially during rush hour traffic. So between the hours of maybe 8 and 9-ish, and that's AM, or in the PM, maybe like 3:30 to like 7. Traffic is trash, okay? And so rush hour, that's what we call it rush hour, because everybody's rushing either to get to work or get home or happy hour or whatever, like wherever they're going, their destination, picking up their kids from school, they're rushing, right? And so a lot of us, when we get caught in traffic, it's usually on like the highway. It's on the highway because everybody else is going that way, right? We're rushing, trying to get there the quickest way possible to get to our destination. And while this route that we take may be shorter as in terms of distance, it might not be shorter in terms of time, right? So let's start here. First of all, let's just deal with this. You're not behind. You're not behind in life. Behind what? Behind who, right? Like all of these arbitrary dates, times, ages that we're supposed to have life figured out, it's not real. It's made up. And so we're beating ourselves up because of the inner colonizer in us that tells us that we should be here by this time. Much like your job tells you, right? I have a lot of thoughts about job and rush hour. I think it creates a very unsafe environment, an unhealthy environment. And so usually people who have to drive through rush hour, get to work or home, they be stressed out, right? Like they be stressed because they've been, white knuckling their steering wheels, and their legs, having to press the brake and the gas and the brake and the gas. Like people are stressed, trying not to get hit while also trying not to be late to wherever they're trying to be, right? So like even though time is just like a construct, it's not real, right? We understand that we operate on time. And so we often put that same time frame like on things in our lives, like by this age I should be married, by this age I should have a degree, by this age I plan to retire, by this age blah blah blah, like all these made up things. And I say made up because it really is like it's an idea that we have bought into, and we use that idea to harm ourselves, right? So rush hour, getting back to that point. So rush hour, everybody is on the same road at the same time. It's congested. It's busy. It's stressful, right? Everybody is clawing and clamoring. But I realize I'm a person, I like to take the scenic route. I don't mind. I'm not in a rush, right? I'm not in a rush most of the time. So like, I don't mind taking the scenic route anywhere. I enjoy seeing the scenes and the views, right? But often when we are in rush hour and when we're rushing our lives, or when we're forcing ourselves to be somewhere where we're not, right? To qualify for enoughness, I don't know, like to hit the mark and so that we look good in other people's eyes, often we get there haggard, we get there injured, we get there stressed, we get to our destination, but we're not well. I know for me, trying to be in school and reach a certain point in my life at a certain time was really stressing me out. Like I was struggling with depression, anxiety, all that stuff, right? From these made up timelines. And so we're in rush hour traffic trying to fight our way to the destination when we could have taken the scenic route. And what I love about taking the scenic route is that not only do I get beautiful views, right? I find things that I may not have found if I was chasing the traditional path, right? But I also get to my destination when I'm supposed to get there, and I get there with my mental health intact. I am not stressed because I'm not striving. I'm not stressed. I'm not strained. I can let people in front of me. I take my time. I might pull over, right? Which is exactly what I just did today. which is why I'm talking about this. So I was driving out of DC. It's Saturday, but the traffic is still bad. So I was driving out of DC through a part of Maryland that's really, really congested. And they're building up this area, and it's just too much going on, right? And so I ended up taking a scenic route. I took the scenic route, and I ended up passing one of my favorite places, which is where I am right now, in nature. And I was like, you know what? I've been stressed from this drive home. Let me pull over and spend some time in nature with my nature friends, and enjoy the journey. And I think that's the point, right? Like, we're rushing. Why are we rushing? Rushing where? Why are we rushing when we could enjoy the journey, when we could take the scenic route? So one thing that I want to talk about is the scenic route, right? Like, when we are not using these arbitrary dates, these made up dates as benchmarks in our lives to figure out, oh, have I done enough by this time to warrant people's respect and kindness, to be kind to myself, right? Like, when we are not living our life based on those things, we are so much more free. We are so much more relaxed. We can relax our bodies. When I'm taking the scenic route, right, my body's relaxed. I'm sitting back in my seat. Like, I'm still kind of, I'm still alert, but like I'm safe, right? I'm more relaxed. When I am in rush hour traffic, rushing, forcing, pushing, right? Like, I'm stressed. My body is tense. You know what I mean? And if I were to get in an accident, I'm probably going to injure myself because I'm tense. And so I think about that even as we are people. We're not cars, obviously, but like in life, we're all kind of rushing through, trying to get somewhere. And so we're all on the same path in the same area, and there is like bumper to bumper traffic. And what does that mean? That causes us to be competitive with one another instead of kind or collaborative. It causes us to want to get in front of other people, right? Because you can't get in front of me because that's going to make me late. Late to what? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I can't let you win because that means a loss for me, right? Like, when I'm driving, I really see how childish people really are. We have not grown up. People are just like adults they're kids in adult bodies, which is really dangerous because I see people, slamming on their brakes, trying to get somebody behind them or not letting people over, like just being this society we live in, this culture we live in, fosters a community where we are unkind to one another. We are unwell ourselves. Let's start there. We're unwell, and that causes us to mistreat other people because we see other people not as people or as human or as community. We see other people as competition. Why? Because we're all on the same journey, on the same path. I don't think that life is ever supposed to be like that. I think capitalism, I think colonization, I think enslavement has put the inner colonizer in us to drive us. You're not going fast enough. You have to get there on time. You're falling behind in life. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as falling behind in your life. Imagine you're throwing a party, right? A birthday party. And you get there when you get there. And somebody got the nerve to call you and tell you that you're late. You're late to your own party. You're late to your own life. That don't make no sense. Who does it benefit for me to rush? Who does it benefit for me to rush? When we're in rush hour traffic, I think about this all the time when I'm caught in rush hour traffic, which is why I try not to drive during those times because people are really mean. People unalive people in rush hour traffic. That's how stressed they are, right? And who is benefiting from rush hour traffic but the people that hire you? You know what I mean? They're not only using your labor, but they're using the fear of death, which is really like the fear of you losing your job, the fear of you losing respect or your boss looking at you sideways. You're fearing the overseer. You feel me? And so we're afraid of that reprimanding or, and sometimes it can be a good inspiration. Like, oh, I don't want to let this person down. I don't want them to wait for me, or I don't want X, Y, and Z. But like, also we're very, very rigid here in America. It's not healthy. Like, people are late. Humans will human. You know what I mean? Like, it's not disrespectful. It's human. It happens. Things happen. In rush hour traffic specifically, right? Like, somebody gets in front of you. There's an accident. There's things that we just cannot anticipate or plan for that cause us to like be derailed, so to speak. But when we are living our lives in a way that is authentic and we're taking our lives slowly, when we are intentional, when we are following our own path, we feel less rigid. We feel less stressed. We're less rigid and we're less stressed, right? So this idea of being behind in life, I get it because it's a concept. By this age, you should X, Y, and Z, because this is what the standard is here. Meanwhile, another country somewhere across the world, across the globe, like halfway across the globe, they're not even thinking about that timeline you living in. It doesn't exist. It happens when it happens, And when we live our lives in a way that we're like, it happens when it happens. right? We're less rigid. We're less stressed out. We feel less pain. If something comes along and derails us, right? If like driving a car, for example, obviously like the best case scenario is like never get into a car accident. But yeah, there are studies that say like when your body is relaxed, you're less prone to injury than if you were like bracing for impact. Do you feel me? And so like when we're more relaxed, when things come along in our lives and derail us, it's less detrimental because we are relaxed. We're taking the scenic route. If something happens or pops up, so be it, right? Because we have time. And there are also benefits. There are beneficial ways that you can get sidetracked. You feel me? So like driving out of DC, like I just said, I didn't plan on coming here. I didn't. But because, hello, how are you? Because I took the scenic route, right? Because I took the scenic route, I was able to be like, oh, I stumbled across one of my favorite places. Why don't we stop here and sit down or go for a walk, which is what I'm doing. I'm going for a walk, but I'm sitting down now. But yeah, like, why don't we go for a walk in one of our favorite places so that the stress of the journey can dissolve off me, can like roll off my back, can melt away. When we are rushing through life, when we're rushing to these made up markers in our lives, we miss out on the magic. Just think about it. When you're in rush hour traffic, are you looking to your left or to your right and smiling at the person you're driving to? Do you have room for generosity? Like, how do you feel in your body? You probably feel stressed. It probably sucks, right? And so we're always white knuckling our life. And that creates an awful atmosphere for us to live in, right? But also, we miss out on the good stuff because we're stressed out rushing to our destination. There's a beauty that comes along with walking. When you're walking, you can be more present. When you're walking, you can pay more attention to things that you might not have seen driving. When you're on foot, there's a different kind of presence that you experience than driving a car, And so even still, like when you're driving slowly or exploring a new place, when you're taking the scenic route, you might say, I wonder where this road goes, and try it out. You feel me? You're not worried about a destination. You're just there. You're present. You're doing the thing. And that's how I feel like we are supposed to be living our lives. But capitalism, white supremacy, colonization, all these things. And of course I use white supremacy as like the name that we all understand it to be. It's not saying that whiteness is supreme, right? Shout out to Erica De Niro TV, right? It's like this illusion of white supremacy, right? This projection. We're living in the fantasy of deluded people. They're delusional, like literally. And again, I'm not a mental health professional, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But they're unwell, right? And so in order for them to feel good about themselves, they have to make us feel crappy. They have to make us feel crappy. And how do they do that? By telling us, by putting these timelines on that are really having us white knuckle through our lives, that are unrealistic for most people, which is why most people feel like a failure, because I don't have this, I'm not there, I don't have this degree, I'm not married, I don't have kids, and then we end up like being led through our lives with this like carrot on the end of a stick that we don't even want. You haven't even considered like not the cost, right, of doing the thing, what it's going to cost to maintain it, but also the cost to get it. Some people's respect I have come to terms with I will never have. I will never have their respect. And I'm not willing to pay the price for it either. It's just an L. Like, it's just an L I'm going to have to take, but it's not really an L because I'm not losing anything. I'm not losing myself. I'm not losing my authenticity. I'm not losing my dreams or my passions or my goals. And I'm also not losing my vitality and my health. I'm not going to lose my mental health for nobody. How are you? Hi. But yeah, like some stuff is just not worth it. Like, okay, yeah, grandma and them are going to be proud of me that I got my degree at 24. But like at the end of the day, this is going to have to be my life. This is my life. You know what I'm saying? We do a lot of things to try to make people proud of us because we think that there is some reward, I guess, like some reward that's worth it on the other end, when really all we get there at these destinations sick, unwell, unwhole, feeling like trash. You feel me? Like, I think about, again, let's just go back to the car driving example, right? Like I was saying, like if you're driving all the time rushing, your brakes are going to wear down faster. The wear and tear on your car is going to be worse, right? You're not going to enjoy the journey. And when you are worried about hitting these arbitrary markers in life, these things that don't exist, that are a figment of somebody else's imagination, not your imagination, somebody else's imagination, right? When you're rushing there, you miss out on the joy of your life. The journey is not joyful no more. It don't even feel worth it. You get this piece of paper, whatever, the degree, money, accolades, hand clap, a smile, like for a moment. It's a fleeting moment of like whatever. And I'm not saying that we should poo-poo these things either. If you have it, that's wonderful, right? But I hope that you're doing it because you want to do it. Hello, crows. Yeah, they're my friends. They be following people around the woods. But I'm not saying it's bad. Like, let's be clear, it's not bad. But are you living your life for you? Is this your journey or somebody else's journey? And I had to ask myself that question about a lot of things. Do I even want this? Like deep down, like the truth, the first thing that comes up, not what I think I should be doing, not what I think somebody would tell me to do. Deep down, is this really what I want? And rushing through my life trying to meet these markers that don't exist, that often have nothing to do with my own happiness or fulfillment, but somebody else's fulfillment, whether that be money or, being able. Let me say this. I've spent a lot of my life trying to make people proud in my life, trying to make people proud in my life. My father is not in my life, and I'm sure that has something to do with it, trying to be enough for someone to stick around. And I realized, like, you can't make people care about you. You can't make people love you, like, no matter what you do. And honestly, hello, friends. And honestly, I had to sit with myself and be like, even if you got everything you ever wanted from other people, approval, even if you got approval from everybody in your life, right? Would you be happy doing the things that they think that you should do? When I think about my parents, my grandparents, my aunties, my uncles, my friends, right? My neighbors, all the people who want good things for me, right? Their own definition of good. If I were to follow their every whim, their every piece of advice, I'd lose my mind. I'd lose myself. I'd lose track of time. Rushing makes us lose track of time. You ever been driving and you're just like an autopilot and you look up, you're like, dang, how did I even get here? Right? I don't want to do that with my life. I don't want to do that. I don't want to, because I go the same route every day. I do the same thing every day. I don't even realize I'm driving anymore. I'm just not here. I'm just not present. I don't want to live like that. Yeah. So you're not behind in life. And I had to, and as I'm getting older and I'm growing in wisdom, I'm realizing even the things that I said in the past that I meant well by, right? Like, I'm realizing, like, no, Alicia, like, I see that and I see what you were trying to do and what you were trying to say, and I have something to add on to that. So this is kind of like an add-on to what I've already said in the past about being a late bloomer, number one, or being behind in life. Number one, you bloom when you bloom. You are your own plant, okay? You are your own plant. You have, like, you remember when we were in school, we had to learn, like, the phylum and things like that, the species of things or whatever. Like, you are your own person. Yes, you are a human being, but you are your own person with your own destiny, your own destination. And though there are people along the way who can help guide you to where you're supposed to, using air quotes, supposed to go, or where you're destined to go, some of that journey you got to go by yourself. And there is no roadmap. And that sucks. There is no roadmap, and that's hard, and that's frustrating, and that can be really discouraging sometimes, right? I feel like the sun is like right behind me. Hey, girl. Hey, sun. Okay. Hopefully you can see me. But yeah, like sometimes there are no roadblocks. There is no shortcut, right? Because everybody's taking the shortcut. Everybody's taking 495. If you're in the DMV area, you know what I mean. But whatever the highway system is, right? People take the highway to bypass the street roads. You feel me? Like the surface streets, right? But it's on those surface streets that you will find the detours, the surprises, the people that come along and help you through your journey. So there is a benefit of going slow. There is a benefit of falling behind. I have taken joy in falling behind. When I think about who I was as a kid, I was always curious. I always wanted to stop and look and turn things over and interrogate things and take things apart and put it back together again. You can't do that when you're rushing. You can't be curious when you're rushing. The crow's right above me. You cannot be curious. They're probably curious about me. Like, girl, what you doing over here? But yeah, you can't be curious when you're rushing because you have somewhere to be. Right? Like, how many times have you driven past something on the way to work and said, oh, one day I want to go visit that. One day I want to go visit that. 10 years later, one day I'm going to go visit that. Then it shuts down. You feel me? Like, I don't want you to do that. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And I'm just finding the joy in falling behind in life, because it's not really falling behind in life as much as it's like falling into your life. Life is supposed to go slow. Life is supposed to be savored. You know what I mean? Americanism, the West, teaches us to rush through everything, rush through your meals. We don't savor our meals. We don't know what it tasted like. We just knew it was good and was fulfilling. It was good. You know what I mean? And to be fair, like, when you're struggling with money, sometimes it's hard to savor your food because, girl, I'm just eating these noodles to be full. You feel me? But even then, when you can spice it up a little bit, when you can add a little seasoning, a little protein, a little, you know what I mean? Like, it's fun. Even the most mundane things become fun when you can take your time with it. So yeah, slow down. Fall behind in life. Yeah. Yes, because keeping up is too much. It costs too much. Too much energy, too much time, frustration. I would much rather get to the destination wherever I'm supposed to be going. Because that's another thing. Life ain't GPS. It's not like you put in a destination and you just go. Sometimes the dream or the destination you think you want to go to is just an invitation to get on the road. Sometimes it's just an invitation and the journey is actually the destination. You feel me? It sounds so cliche and like, what is it? Like, hang a quote on your wall. Like, but honestly, right? Like, when we're present in our lives, this is the destination. It's not the money. It's not the fame. It's not the accolades. It's not the what do you call it? The employee of the month. It's not that. It's your life. This is your life. This is your life. And I'm saying this to you, as I always say, as I'm saying it to myself, Alicia, this is your life. And screw the arbitrary everything, the goals, the expectations of other people. I've lived my life in autopilot, allowing other people to guide. It's not even an autopilot. It's just like, I guess so, like the program. Allowing other people, their expectations of me, their disappointment, their judgments, their whatever of me, their love, like pining after someone, like working for other people's love and acceptance. I've allowed that to lead my life for so long that my life has not even been mine for a long time. And I find that the more that I listen to myself, the more pissed off people are, the more disappointed people are. And that's really hard, like coming from a person who struggled with people pleasing. You know, like it's really hard to deal with that. And so I'm not going to pretend like it's airy-fairy, everything's wonderful. No, it's really hard and it sucks sometimes. But even in all that sucking and all that hardship, there is beauty. And I am present and I can do things like, you know what? Let me pull over and go for a walk. When I live my life in an unconventional way, because I'm an unconventional person, okay, I realized a lot of my suffering came from me trying to fit myself in a box that was never meant for me. It was made for me by overseers and oppressors and people who want me to stay on the line. And even it was woven together for me with love and kindness from people that meant well. My parents, my mother, my grandmother, whomever, like those people, right? They put it together for me to be safe. And I love them for that. End sentence, start new paragraph. You feel me? And also, this is my life. And sometimes that means disappointing the people that I love, not because I'm doing anything to harm them, but because I'm not going the path that they would have me to go. So yeah, no, I don't have a lot of things that a lot of people at 34 should have. But you know what I do have? At this point in my life, I have my peace of mind. I have my joy. I have my free time. I have my dreams, my imagination. When we are on that fast track, when we're on that highway, there's not a lot of room for imagination. Not a lot of room for collaboration, right? You don't want to collide with nobody, but there's not a lot of room for waving hello and just saying hi. Just like the human, natural things that humans do when you're on that highway of life. But when you take the surface streets, when you allow life to surprise you, when you stop white knuckling your steering wheel, when you sit back and relax for a little bit, turn on some good music. Okay, when I was at work and I had to drive through rush hour traffic, I was like, girl, we're going to get home when we get home. It is what it is, right? Of course I want to get home quickly, but I'm not going to. There's no way. There's back-to-back traffic, bumper to bumper. It's not going to happen. So what do? Make the best of the worst situation. I put on music. I have a dance party. I call people that I love, right? Like I make it a more pleasurable experience. So even as I'm on my way somewhere, I still have joy in my journey. I take the scenic route. I take the surface streets, the surface roads. The GPS says that on 95, it's going to take me 35 minutes to get there, but it's red. You know that red line on Google Maps? It means that there's traffic, right? It's just red all the way through. Do I want to do that, or do I want to go the 45-minute route, but it's green? And I can let life surprise me. I can pull over and go to happy hour. I can go to the movies. I can get a bite to eat. I can hang out with my friends, stop by their house. You know what I mean? Like, there is beauty in falling behind in life. And it is indoctrination that makes us feel like we're doing something wrong if we're not doing what other people approve of us doing. But also, we've been lied to, and it's time for us to remind ourselves that this is our life. We're on our own timeline. If you're 50-something years old and you want to go back to school, do it. Why not? If you're 18 and you're like, I can't afford to go to school for 4 years, or this seems, ridiculous, take a class every semester. Who said that you can't get your degree one class at a time? Who said that? Who said that? I hear you. If you're not interested in being married, don't. If you don't want to have kids, don't. We live so much of our lives for other people, and even this idea of falling behind in life is not even an idea from our own imagination. It was implanted there. I'm thinking about Inception, of course, but it was implanted there, right, by somebody else's. We're living in someone else's imagination. The timeline is somebody else's imagination, like made from their imagination, designed by them for them to benefit, not you. You don't benefit from that timeline. You don't. You might get a hand clap. You might get accepted. Black excellence, Black excellence brunch Twitter is going to applaud you, which is great. I'm saying this in jest, okay? Because as long as you're happy with what you're doing, I'm happy for you. You feel me? I'm talking about the people who are suffering, trying to force things in their life because they feel like they have to, because somebody told them that they had to. Check in with yourself. Is this your life or somebody else's? Are you living your life? Or are you living someone else's life? Where there is pain, where there is suffering, are you suffering because you're trying to fit yourself into this box that wasn't made for you, or a timeline you're trying to rush through that wasn't made for you? And if so, stop that. Easier said than done, I know. But stop that. Really, let's start here. Let's interrogate the things. Let's be honest. Let's stop lying. We lie so much. We lie to ourselves. Every time we do something that goes against what we really want, we betray ourselves. We harm ourselves. And I'm tired of harming myself with these things that I've been pretending are true, but aren't true for me. It's not. Trying to be acceptable, trying to be palatable, trying to make myself understood by people causes me harm. Shout out to Toni Morrison. Her words have been sitting with me. I've been chewing on them a lot, but she talks about specifically racism, but I implore you to apply this to wherever it fits, right? But with racism, when you're trying to do anti-racism work or trying to prove to people that you're worthy, you'll spend your whole life trying to prove to other people that you're worthy of their respect. Wouldn't it just be better to not deal with those people at all? To not worry about what they say and what they think? Because why would you be concerned? Why would you want to concern yourself with what horrible, awful, violent, abusive people think about you when you are a holy, sacred, loving, beautiful being? They don't even have eyes to really see you. They don't have the arms to hold you. You're trying to appeal to a monster. Because a lot of those people that even put you on that timeline and that track, they don't know why they're on that timeline. They don't know why they think they should be at this place at this time. They don't know why. It's just because that's the things that have been done. It's really shocking to me, jarring, honestly, when I ask people to engage with their imaginations, because we don't. We did when we were younger, and we engage with our imaginations when it comes to anxiety. That's a whole thing, right? Imagining scenarios that aren't happening or being re-triggered by things that have happened, right? And not wanting to feel those things again. But how often do you engage in your imagination to imagine a different reality where you can exist? There are many doors. I'm writing, low-key, I'm writing a book about Black girl creativity. And one of the things that I've been chewing on is there are so many doors to creativity. But really, it can be applied anywhere. There are so many doors to your life, to where you want to go, what you want to do. And it doesn't have to look the same. It doesn't have to look like what everybody else's life looks like. Your life is allowed to look like your life in your way. And oftentimes it feels like you don't know what you're doing or you're behind in life. But really, you'll see at some point, oh, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be going slower. There's a reason why I'm doing this. If I was on the fast track, I wouldn't be making this video. You know what I mean? I don't know. It could be as simple as that. Or if I was rushing, I wouldn't pull over and go to the park. If I was rushing through my life, I would not have met so many beautiful people. if I was on that track that didn't fit me. But I'm finding my people slowly, right? Drip by drip, finding my community, finding my places in life, by pushing away this programming that we're all gifted at like 5 years old when we enter into the school program, or maybe even before that for some people, you know, with pre-K and all this other stuff. Constructive, like really living our lives in these boxes, these timetables that are made up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, squirrel. Oh, let me see. I'm gonna move over, see if the thing will follow me so y'all can see the squirrel. It's so cute, that baby. Hold on. Let's see. I don't know, girl. Let's see. Okay. The squirrel is, oh no, it's following me too much. Okay. Hold on. Let me stand up. The squirrel is that little lump that you see right there, right here, just chilling on the branch. Anyway, so what was I saying? But yes, live your life. Okay. You're not behind in life. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. It's all made up. It's not real. A lot of the suffering that we put ourselves through, right, is unnecessary. There is already enough suffering in this world. There's enough. We don't need to create any more by putting ourselves and putting ourselves on these timelines that aren't real, that don't add up. That isn't our time. Reclaim your time. Shout out to Maxine Waters, okay? Reclaim your time, meaning reclaim your own timeline. This is your life. You're allowed to do whatever you listen. This is freeing as freeing as it is scary. Okay, you're allowed to do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt nobody else or yourself. I mean, you can hurt yourself, but I would rather you not. You know what I mean? So yeah, so you're allowed to do whatever you want, and that's exciting and scary because who knew that I had this much freedom? And what do you do with this much freedom? Anything you want. Follow your curiosity. Follow your joy, right? Put down what you don't like. You don't have to suffer. You know what I mean? In that way. You don't have to suffer in that way. Again, like I said, there is some suffering that we can't push off. People get sick. You know, people's hearts break. You know, people lose their jobs. These kinds of things happen. War, violence, crime, like all this stuff happens. But you don't have to further harm yourself by pushing yourself to be where you are not. That's unkind. That is so mean. Imagine if you had a friend that followed you around all the time talking about you're behind in life. You know everybody hates you, right? If you don't do this by then I'm going to stop being your friend. Like, you would never do that, hopefully, to somebody that you love. Why are you doing that to yourself? Why do we do that? It's that inner colonizer, our inner bully. Somebody gifted us. We don't have to use that gift, okay? You're allowed to do whatever you want. And the way that I am reminding myself of this is getting in community with other Black women specifically who are doing whatever they want. Whatever brings them joy. Women who give themselves permission to live the life that they want to live, and in turn giving me permission to live the life that I want to live. My mouth is getting cold, so it's hard for me to speak, so I'm going to wrap it up soon. But yes, you are not behind in life. You are not behind in life. I'll probably play the song at the end of this so that you can listen to it, but you're not behind in life. Late bloomer, like the lyrics of my song basically say, oh, hey, Spider, you can't be here though. Let me help you. Oh, sorry, little baby. But yeah, like the lyrics to Late Bloomer basically are, I had a traveler spider that wanted to come with me, but I'm in their home, so to be fair. But all your life you felt behind. Everybody is passing you by. You wonder, when is your time? You stuck on the ground while everyone's flying. Sorry, I'm singing it in my head, like, what are the words? But yeah, like, you're on the ground looking up, right? But have you ever considered that, like, your landing strip or takeoff strip is somewhere else, right? Instead of, like, looking up at everybody else saying, like, wow, what an amazing, look at them flying. Have you ever considered, like, walking? You know what I mean? Like, consider walking. And then eventually developing your own wings. Like, I think about the caterpillar and I think about the butterfly and the magic of that. Right? The process of a caterpillar minding its business, following its own journey. And at some point, there's something in it that says, it's time to evolve. It's time to change. It's not worried about, I'm not a butterfly yet. Everybody else is flying around me. I'm not a butterfly, right? Like, that's not what the caterpillar does. The caterpillar minds its business and follows its own track and takes its own time until it's ready. You know, and I have so much more to say about this. Even the idea of going slowly, being able to take detours, right? Like I said, your dreams, what you think you want right now, you might think you want this thing, and maybe you do, but you might think that you want this thing. And all that is an invitation for you to get on that road and start walking. Then when you walk, you see another path like, I didn't even know this was possible to go there. I wonder where this goes, right? And then you start living. And the more that you live, the more that you pour into your life and are present in the moment, the less that you worried about other people in their timeline. I promise. I'm speaking from experience. I can say that much is true. I'm not saying that I never think about my timeline anymore, but when I'm living and minding my business and doing what my soul is telling me to do, my spirit, being led by spirit, literally being led by spirit, inspiration, right? Inspiration is spirit. You feel me? Being led by that, by my joy, trusting ease, trusting my life and my life's timeline. You know, when I'm minding my business, life is fulfilling. It's so fulfilling that I'm worried about my own plate and not worried about other people. You know what I mean? My joy is so loud that sometimes it even speaks over the people who criticize me for not being where they think I should be. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for all of us. That's what I want for myself. So yeah, so you're not behind. You're right on time. You're your own species. You're your own person. You're on your own timeline. You feel me? Like we read these biographies of these people who are great. And a lot of times what makes them great is that they did their own thing. They didn't follow a path. They weren't on 95. You feel me? Like they were on the surface streets. They were taking their time. They were listening in. They were believing themselves. They were giving themselves a chance. A lot of people we look up to took risks, you know, that often went against what other people were saying to do, the formula, you know what I mean? Whatever that is, the formula, using air quotes. Yeah, just take your time. You're not behind in life. You are exactly where you are, and where you are is like pregnant with possibility, full of life and permission and what is the word? Possibility. If you feel behind in life, it's time to check in with that inner colonizer. Tell that inner colonizer, be quiet, mind their business, okay? Because you living. And also understand that you feeling behind in life is not you. Any form of oppression you feel, because that is oppressive. That's oppressive. Shame works. Shame works in silencing us and stopping us from doing a thing. Well, I'm too old now. It's too late now. No, it's not. You have breath in your lungs. It's never too late. It's never too late. Too late based on who? You know what I mean? It's all made up. It's all fake. What is age except how many revolutions you've taken on this earth around the sun? And honestly, the more revolutions you take, the more empowered you should feel. And I know that we live in a world that is ageist, in a reality that's ageist here in the West, right? But that oppression is projection. It's projection. I have to keep reminding myself, anything that feels like oppression to me, anything that is oppressive is projection, and it benefits other people. It doesn't benefit me. You thinking that you're too late in your life, that your time has passed by and you no longer can, that don't serve nobody but people who are trying to keep you down and out, who literally feel those things about themselves. That rush hour traffic, that person that won't let you over, that you got your turn signal on, can I come over? And they're like, no. Why? Because they don't want you to get in front of them. You feel me? Why does culture work so hard to make us hate ourselves? Why do you think that is? Because they know how powerful we are. They know how impactful we could be if we only learn to love and accept ourselves. That would be revolutionary. If we learned how to love ourselves, we would love each other more and better. We'd be less stingy, more generous. You feel me? Like the world would change. Their entire system would topple over if you would just if you would just have the audacity to love yourself, to believe yourself, to not abandon yourself for what they're trying to sell you. Because nothing is worth your respect of yourself, your love of yourself, you know? Like you out of this world, honey. And they know that. And if you would let life surprise you, if you would go slower, life could surprise you even more. There's so much possibility. There's so much opportunity here, you know? And it doesn't have to cost you your joy, your happiness, your contentment, your peace, your safety, your health, all those things. Yeah, because white knuckling through life is not healthy. It's not. It leads to stress. I was listening to Martha Beck. She's a creator or a writer. She's a person, like a person. She's important. And she's like in the realm of like Elizabeth Gilbert or whatever. And usually I don't be listening to them because, I be listening to Black women specifically. But either way, where I get wisdom. And I be like, yes, that was wisdom. So she said something where she said that she was diagnosed with autoimmune diseases. Now, I'm not a doctor, please, okay? But she said something in passing, and she goes, yeah, my body, I got autoimmune diseases from like working really hard and like basically white knuckling through life, right? And I'm paraphrasing, obviously. She didn't say that, but whatever. So she said that she was struggling with some autoimmune diseases. And she says, and my body started attacking itself because it realized that it started attacking me because I wasn't kind to my body. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like, just I'm not saying that you should be sick, right? I'm not saying that that's the reason why a lot of people have autoimmune diseases. I'm not trying to be ableist in any way. But what I'm saying is that she could recognize that her body did not feel safe with her. Hello, how are you? Hi. That her body didn't feel safe, that her soul didn't feel safe with her. And so her body started attacking itself because she was almost like her own enemy, right? Like when you have a foreign object in your body works really well at getting rid of that foreign object. You know what I mean? Like it pushes it out. Like I remember I had piercings in my nose. I had septum and hopefully you can still hear me, it's windy. But I had a septum piercing and a nose piercing, right? My body said, LOL, girl, we don't want that. Every piercing I've had, it's rejected. I had 2 lip piercings down here, and as soon as I took them out to like do an MRI or something, it closed up. And I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm not doing this no more with you. So our bodies work really well at healing itself, is my point. And so what she was basically saying was that her body recognized that she was the one harming herself, right? And I thought about that with myself, and I was like, yo, like, the inner colonizer in me has convinced me, has been in my ear talking this whole time. Alicia, hate yourself. You're an awful person. You're not good enough. Look at you. You're not talented enough. Look at you. How dare you? You can't try this. You can't fail, because if you fail, they're going to hate you. Like, and there has been so much turmoil within me, and I tried to figure out like why. And I really feel like there's a me in me, like a small me in me, like little me, like younger me, right? Or me, just like the true me in me, which is, I feel like the closest I've ever been to the truest me is when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And so like the kid me in me is like, I don't like this bully. And that turmoil that I feel sometimes is me warring against who I really am versus who I think I have to be to get other people's love. When whole time, the kid me is loving and loves me altogether already. I had to, even feeling behind in life, I had to look back on songs that I created, books that I wrote, things I didn't celebrate myself for because I was on to the next thing. I didn't even celebrate myself. And I'm changing all of that now. Like, Alicia, you are that girl, and you are that girl or that guy or that person. You feel me? Like, you don't get rewarded for hating yourself. You might get a hand clap. It might feel like a reward. It's bondage. It's not a reward. That's how insidious it is. Like, if you get praised for suffering, you get praised for losing, you get praised for pushing off your joy, you get praised for betraying yourself constantly. We betray ourselves all the time for a paycheck. You feel me? Like, we get rewarded for betraying ourselves. And so we fear being honest and authentic and true. And if we were honest, a lot of us would find that we don't care nothing about that timeline. In real life, not really. We care about what people think about us. We care about our community. We care about being respected and loved and protected, right? And seen and taken seriously. But for the most part, we don't care nothing about that timeline. Not really. It's like a sense of urgency, this anxiety we feel. And anything for me, whenever anything feels anxious to me, I have to check in with myself. That's not me. That's somebody else's messaging or a belief or something that was passed down to me by somebody else. But it ain't from me. When I am in my joy, when I am happy, when I am fulfilled, when I feel like I'm on mission, whatever that is, right? And I'm not saying that it's like one mission or one purpose. But whenever I am living my life authentically, I ain't worried about no daggone timeline. I'm not. And so instead of like trying to meet these markers, maybe we should just try to just be joyful and honest. Maybe that could be the goal. Your joy, because it's worth it. You're worth your joy. Everybody's rushing and everybody's stressed out when we could all take surface streets. And if we all took surface streets, it'd be less stressful. There's a dog down there running without a leash, without a person. Okay. But yes, that's my signal. That's my cue. So again, have grace with yourself. We are all unlearning. We're all decolonizing. We're trying to. And we're all just trying to get back to the heart of ourselves, which is really just pure love and joy. Like, think about who you were as a kid: adventurous, curious, open, loving, accepting. Wasn't no timeline. We had to be in before the streetlights came on, but that's about it. You feel me? But yeah, either way, trust your joy, trust your life, trust the timing of your life. I just want to make sure I'm saying all the right things, all the things that I want to say to you. But yeah, this is your life. You're on your own timeline. You can't be behind. This is your life. You're in one. I'll give you one more example. I used to swim in high school, and I used to play a lot of sports. And I love swimming because it really is like, even though it's a team sport, sometimes when you're doing like relay or whatever, and you get a lot of encouragement from the sidelines, for the most part, it's you in the water and the lane, and that's it. You, the water, the lane, and that's it. You can hear the noise kind of muffled when you're underwater, and when you peek up your head, that's when you can hear everything, all the noise. But then you got to go back down and take all that noise with you, all the encouragement, right? Like, sift through all that noise to find like the through line. You know what I mean? And use that to power yourself down that lane and back, or however many times you got to do it, depending on what event you're swimming. And the time that you're trying to beat is yours. Like yeah, they have the first, second, third, whatever, but you're trying to make your own time. Nobody's in that lane with you. A lot of us feel like we're competing with each other. You can't compete with each other because we all have our own timelines. We all have our own missions. Even if we're doing the same kind of thing, we do it in our own special way. There's no way that you're in competition with anybody, because you have no competition. There is no competition. It doesn't exist. It's made up. And so a lot of us are suffering by participating in a competition that don't exist. It's not real. It's not real. Focus on your own life. Focus on your own joy. Don't worry about what them is saying. Use other people as inspiration, of course. That's wonderful. There's a scripture that basically says, the race is not given to the swift, but those who endure, right? Like, in that scripture, right? But I think about, like, it's not even a race. It's like, how do you endure? How do you endure? With joy, with fulfillment, with the things that you can't count, the things that don't make you money, your friends, your family, like nature, like that's what makes life worth it. Are the things that we're working so hard to get people's respect, because what we really want is love. We really want to rest, and we really want to rest in the fact that we are enough. But when you're chasing enoughness, you'll never be able to rest. It is a track that you just keep running around and around. And again, like that carrot on a stick, you keep running and chasing it. And you might get to taste a little bit, and then it's snatching out your mouth. And it's always something more. There's always something more to do, right? But what happens when you accept yourself in your life? You realize how fulfilling your life already is, how full it already is, how magical it already is. I'm out here in the woods, chilling with squirrels and crows, listening to river running behind me. I don't know if you can even see that. To water running behind me, saying hello to people on a trail. That's magical. And I couldn't experience that on 95. You know what I mean? So anyway, this is just for the people who feel behind in life. Have you ever considered that your life has not been charted yet, and it's up to you to chart that journey? You know, that maybe there is no route, there is no quick thing, right? But there is this, one step at a time. Have you considered that this is not normal, the speed that we're driving in? Rush hour is not normal. We've normalized it. But people living on top of each other the way that they are, people forcing and stuffing themselves on 4 lanes, that's not normal. That's not normal. They've convinced us that that's normal. That's not normal. Which is why people are so anxious and angry in traffic, because they're pushed to their limits. How about you take the route that you can relax in? That's all I'm offering. But I'm gonna get back on my walk now, and then I'm gonna head home, and I'm gonna head home happier, because I was able to honor my own life and my own journey and take my time. Okay. So either way, I'm gonna get to the destination, or I'm not, right? Like, Lord willing, I'm gonna make it home, right? You feel me? Or I might go to the store, or I might go to the restaurant. You know what I mean? But like, I'm gonna get to the destination, but the journey is the part that I'm enjoying. Because once you get to the destination, it's like, oh, I've gotten there. Okay, now what? What's next, right? Because we always want to experience more, and I feel like that desire for more really is just the desire for more life. I don't think it's a desire for more things or more. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I don't know. The word is escaping me. Let me try to rephrase this. I think that what our soul really wants is to be seen for who we really are. Our soul really wants to be happy. And I think when we keep chasing these random things that some white man somewhere determined that this is what we should be doing and when, right? Like when we're pursuing our own desire and our own dreams, we are full. We are happy. We are joyous. And then when we're chasing on that track, when running on that track, we get tired, right? And I feel like it's like we keep chasing something and it never satisfies because it never was supposed to satisfy. That job is never supposed to satisfy. I think it can be impactful, but the job is the means to an end. You feel me? Shout out to Stephanie Perry, because Stephanie Perry was talking about this today. But you're not a worker. You work to live. Like that's how we're supposed to be working to live, or getting the degree to live, or doing X, Y, and Z to live. But we don't live. We don't live, and so then we make our life the work. We make the work our living. That's not living, you know? So take your time. You will find that most people are not on 95. The loudest ones are on 95. There's a lot of honking, a lot of, aggression and competition and whatever childish behavior. There's a lot of that, but there's not a lot of life on 95. It's just concrete, runoff, dead things, animals, right? But there's not a lot of life. Where there's life is off of 95. Is off of that race, the rushing, the white knuckling. It's tucked away in small, quiet places that are begging you to come, please, please, please join us on this road, on this journey. But I think that's enough. All right. Well, love yourselves, love each other, be patient with yourself. Let's take a deep breath. Let's breathe real quick. That felt so good. Shout out to Octavia Rahim. She was saying that when we sigh audibly, it does something to our nervous system. I can feel that. Whenever you just need one of those, a good one sometimes. But either way, I'm proud of you. You are not behind. This is your life. You get to make your own rules. If you want to start over at 89, 90, 100, you do that. That is your right to do. You don't have to check in with nobody else or ask nobody for permission. This is your life. You are free. You are free. Embrace that freedom. Okay? So I'll talk to you all soon. Again, love each other, love yourself, and love yourself. Love yourself no matter where you are, where you think you are on a path. Love yourself when you're confused, when you're unsure. Love yourself when other people don't love you because you're not where they think you should be. Love yourself. That is revolutionary. That is the hard work. That is the hard work. And we're getting there one step at a time. So I'll talk to y'all later. All right? Bye. Day, dun, da, dun, 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 day. All your life you felt behind. Dun, da, dun, day. Everybody is passing you by. Dun, da, dun, day. You wonder when it's your time. Dun, da, dun, day. You stuck on the ground while everyone's flying. Dun, da, dun, day. You're at the right place at the right time. Dun, da, dun, you're at the right place. You're not behind. Dun, da, dun, you're at the right place at the right time. Dun, da, dun, you're at the right place. You're not behind. Dun, da, dun, late bloomer. Dun, da, dun, you are so beautiful. Dun, da, dun, at every stage. Dun, da, dun, at every age. Dun, da, dun, late bloomer. Dun, da, dun, you are so wonderful. Dun, da, dun, just run your race. Dun, da, dun, at your own pace. Dun, da, dun, yeah. Dun, da, dun, day. Dun, da, dun, day. Dun, da, dun, day. on my own time. Whatever's mine, it will be mine. I am right here at the right time. I don't have to strain for it, it's mine at the right time. I don't have to strain for it, it's mine on my own time. I'm at the right place at the right time. It's mine. I'm at the right place, I'm not behind. I'm at the right place at the right time. It's mine. I'm at the right place, I'm not behind. I'm at the right place at the right time. It's mine. I'm at the right place, I'm not behind. I'm at the right place at the right time. It's mine. I'm at the right place, I'm not behind. My own time. Dun 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 day. 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 Whatever's mine, it will be mine. I will get there on my own time. Whatever's mine, it will be mine. I am right here at the right time. Dun 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 day. At the right time. Dun 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 day. At the right time.